Okay, hi everyone, it's me again, Kelsey, and I'm the creator of the Fibromyalgia Tumblr. It's kind of a mouthful. I just wanted to make another video because I've been doing a lot of research about the causes of chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, and I've been finding that, as with my case, and other people's cases, it's caused by the Epstein-Barr virus or the HV6, which is herpes virus 6, and I think it's also referred to as roseola virus. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. But, so what I've been finding with this information regarding Epstein-Barr and HV6 is that a lot of the doctors who've been doing research with these patients are finding that it's much, much harder for them to recover, if they recover at all. And a lot of this is because both of these viruses stay in your system and they never leave. And they really affect your immune system and really tax your energy. So this is why both of these viruses create a system of chronic pain and chronic fatigue. And I wanted to share my story because I don't agree with these doctors, because I had both HV6 and the Epstein-Barr virus, and both of those had them both at the same time, and they caused my chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. And I'm sitting here today almost 3 years later, and I'm back in school full time, and I walk to my classes, which I haven't been able to do in 4 years, since my freshman year at college, and that was in 2008. And even though, I only live I live across the street, a block from campus, it's still a really big accomplishment for me to be able to walk to my classes and walk back, and to be a full-time student, which I haven't been able to do since my freshman year. So, just a little background. When I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue October of 2010, but nobody knew what was wrong with me until then, because I got really, really sick in August of 2009, and just sort of a brief summary, for about 8 or 9 months I was in bed, and I lost 30 pounds. I got down to 100, I think it was 120 pounds, and I had this swollen gland. It was swollen for 6 months, and it was the size of a golf ball. It was like literally sticking outside side of my neck, and my tonsils were swollen for 4 months, 3 times the size they should have been. And I had gotten blood tests when I first got sick that semester in college at my health center in August or September, and they said, oh, nothing's wrong, you don't have mono, blah, 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 but they were only doing a mono test. They, at that point I had the HV6 virus, which I actually wouldn't find out that I had until 2 years later after that, when I was a different doctor, my immunologist, and who did a much extensive blood work, much more extensive. So, back to that. So I didn't think I had anything, and I was feeling so sick and so out of it that I couldn't concentrate on anything other than just putting one foot in front of another and getting to class. I felt like I had just drank an entire bottle of NyQuil. That's how completely out of it I was. I had fever, I was just hot and sweaty, so I was like, oh, I don't have mono, I'll get better in a couple weeks. And I just tried to keep going to my classes, and I kept getting sicker and sicker. So I left school early for Christmas break, and I didn't get any better, and I was in bed all Christmas break. I did not get any better. I couldn't eat. I had no appetite at all. I could not eat. And I could barely even, at that point, barely walk to the bathroom, but I could, and I kept thinking, because I was so just like completely out of it, just like on, my mind was just like in la la, like it was, like I said, I felt like I just drank a whole bottle of NyQuil. So I tried to go back to school in January, and that did not last long, because then I did get mono, and I got tested and I had mono, so I had 2 viruses at once. So my body was basically just battling itself, and I just completely crashed, and I had to go home, and then I just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and by that spring I couldn't get out of bed and walk to my bathroom. I couldn't get out of bed and just walk to the kitchen. It took me 4 months to be able to get out of bed and walk one lap around my parents' house and then come back. And I was miserable, and I went to the Cleveland Clinic, and they said the same thing, like, there's nothing we can do for you, you have mono, and that's it. Which they were wrong, because I had 2 viruses, and nobody knew it until 2 years later. So they couldn't help me, and I had to be in a wheelchair when I went to the doctor, to Cleveland Clinic twice, because I couldn't walk. And I was so exhausted and frail and feeble that I had to be in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. And so because none of these doctors knew what was wrong with me, and my glands were so swollen, and I was just like completely out of it, and my tonsils were swollen, and I wasn't getting any better. It had been 6 months of feeling like this every day. I wasn't getting any better. And one night I just remember laying in bed being in so much pain, being so exhausted, but not being able to sleep. Like not being able to swallow. I couldn't swallow anything. I couldn't eat anything. I could barely even open my eyes to watch TV. I just remember thinking, I'm dying. Like, this is it. I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow morning. And at that point, I was okay with that, because I was so sick, and I had like lost so much by then, just part of my life. I'd lost my entire life, and I wasn't getting better, and there was really no hope for me, because none of the doctors were telling me anything. Nobody was giving me a diagnosis, nothing. But obviously, case in point, I did wake up the next day. I didn't die, and I sort of had this moment of feeling like I had stared into the abyss and come back, and that I wasn't going to die, but it was going to take me a long time to get better. And it has, and I'm not perfect yet, but I'm sure as hell a lot better than what I was. And the doctors really didn't do anything for me, and because I ended up going back to Cleveland Clinic again, and they said the same thing. So it ended up being really just me and the clock, me just waiting to get better, eating healthy, taking care of myself, putting my body first, and realizing that there's nothing, trying to accept that there's nothing I can do externally via medication to get the virus out of my system. So I took care of myself, and I ate, and eventually, probably about a year and a half later, I went back to school, but I was only taking 1 class a day because I was in so much pain, so tired. It was just like exhausting trying to get myself out of bed to brush my teeth in the morning. But I made myself do it. I made myself get up and go to that 1 class. And that was a year and a half ago. And today, I can get up and I can go to 2 classes a day, every day, Monday through Thursday. And I walk there, and I'm not in pain when I get up. And I still eat healthy, but I have somewhat of a social life. And I do still have pain, and I'm still really tired. And my immune system, I get sick really easy because I've got these viruses in me that are never going to leave, and I, had to sort of make amends with that and realize that my body isn't what everybody else's body is, and that it has been compromised, and that's okay because I've come a long way, and I've learned to listen to myself. And I wanted to make this video because I don't want you guys to listen to what the doctors are telling you. If they're saying, if you've had Epstein-Barr and now you have chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, or if you've had, like I've had, both of the viruses and now you have chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, and they're telling you that you are probably not going to get better, that you shouldn't give up, because I got better. I mean, I'm not perfectly better, but I'm really close to being in like complete remission, and I have like a social life, and I have hope for the future, and I'm a full-time student again, and it feels great. And one day, if you keep working at it, and if you keep listening to your body and taking care of yourself, and you're not listening to what doctors are saying with that, oh, our research says that these people are less likely to recover because, it's just really affected their immune system, and blah, 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 blah. That, you just need to remember that people haven't really started to research our disease until recently, and that they still don't really know everything yet. And just because other people may not have recovered as easily doesn't mean you aren't either, because you're more than a statistic. You're a human being, and everybody's body's different. And I just want you to know that there's hope out there, and that I've been where you've been, and maybe someday everything will just be okay. And maybe it won't be for a long time, but there's always the possibility, because you never really know in life what's around the corner. It could be everything or it could be nothing. But the most important thing is to keep putting one foot in front of the other and stop trying to predict your future, because I never thought I ever would be where I am right now, and I'm so eternally grateful to the universe, cosmos, to whatever, to myself, to my family, that I've, gotten to where I am today. And I feel really humbled and appreciative of everything people have done for me, and I want you guys to be where I am one day. So just hold in there, keep your chin up, and send me any messages. I would love to talk to any of you. If you want to know more, or if you just need someone to talk to, let me know. Thanks.